I'm gonna be straight up. I find this process incredibly confusing. I got all the dumb poles. Hey, it's Jason. I'm here at the building, and my son and I are gonna put up a tent back here. We decided that we wanted to do some indoor camping on this rainy day or rainy weekend, and I got a tent off of Walmart, a 12-person tent that looks like a cabin kind of. So what I'm gonna do is show you the tent, and I'm gonna do a time-lapse video of installing it. Obviously, this situation is different than if you were outside, but the setup should be pretty much the same, minus I have a better level of spot. I don't have to contend with wind or weather or anything like that. So let's take a look at the tent real quick. So the tent comes in this bag, and this light is just because of an old halogen light I have in the garage. But this tent is fairly heavy. I would say it's about 60 pounds. So if you're gonna lug this bad boy, you're not gonna wanna lug it too far. They ship it in one of these big tall boxes that pretty much completely gets tattered by the time it gets to you. So like the carrying case already has a rip in it. So just be mindful of that they're gonna ship it in a box that is not made for that much weight. And the tent is a Ozark 12-person cabin tent. So it comes with this carrying case. Let's unzip it and take a peek. I'm not a camper, really, to be honest. And I've only set up really small tents. It's only me here today, but I can cheat. I have a 6-foot ladder, which I gotta imagine might come in handy. So the first thing you're gonna pull out is, it looks like all the canvas. Let me lay this here. And then it looks like a whole bunch of holes. Let's open that up and take a look. I just realized that this case with this handle, it is on wheels. So I guess you could lug it by rolling it instead of carrying it. So let's open up the poles. It looks like a ton, but the good news is everything does appear to be color coded. So I'm going to keep all of those in this bag. I got to find out where the instructions are because I haven't found them quite yet. All right, so we got this thing unpackaged, and it's a lot. I decided to lay all the poles out on the ground. You can see everything's color coded. More here on my tailgate, smaller ones, and lots of others, little bits and adapters. All of the canvas materials. It's a ton of stuff. I would hate to be the one taking this tent down after a long trip and putting back in this bag, but maybe it's easier than I'm expecting. So the instructions make it seem pretty darn easy. Physically attached in the bag, literally one page. I don't know, man, that worries me a little bit. I thought it was gonna be like 2,000 steps. So let me get this bag somewhere where I can read it. I wish it wasn't attached to the bag. Maybe I'll download the PDF. And I'm gonna set this camera up as a time lapse and show it going up. It's gonna go up over here in the building. I'm probably gonna keep this thing set up for a while or so if we ever wanna come camping again in the building. It's 20 foot by 10 foot. So it should fit nicely here. This is the project. Wish us luck. I got some camping chairs too. Classing it up a bit. All right, so I found a PDF of this, and they just like pull all the poles that match colors, put them together, and then just put it together like that. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Blue, red, green, yellow, eve poles snap together, and then you just literally the second step is attach the leg poles. So I don't know. It gives about 8 warnings that you need 2 people. So let's see if I can figure this out. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on time lapse. All right, I'm gonna be straight up. I find this process incredibly confusing. I got all the dumb poles put together, and again, these instructions, it's like, am I just not a camper? Like, I see this on YouTube and people are like, oh, hey, look, it's set up. It took me an hour. It took me 30 minutes just to unpackage the box. Step 1 is verify package contents. Seems like I have everything. Step 2 is spread out your tent floor side down. So nothing's labeled. I'm assuming this is the roof because it has the screen, but I don't know what the floor is. Like, is this the floor? I guess. And I guess those are to tether it to something. But I feel like if they just had instructions with like, hey, and this is the floor, it would be helpful. So I'm gonna unravel all of this junk and see if I can't be certain this is the floor. I assume it is, but maybe it's wrapped up in all that crap. All right, so I know this is the canopy, like the roof that goes over everything when it's done. So that's gonna be towards the end. I can get that out of the way. This is just one giant piece, but what I believe, I guess the floor is the gray bottom of this, and it's attached, I guess, and it's a complete nightmare to work with. It's like a parachute. So I'm gonna try to pull this over there because the instructions say lay out the floor, so this must open up like a sandwich or something, and then you assemble the pieces. I thought this was going to be a lot more descriptive in the instructions. So So let me give this a go. I'm struggling. This thing just seems like it's like a constant state of knots. I have no idea how the floor is put down. I thought it would like drape to the left and right and then zip up over the poles. This could be my complete ignorance and because of not being a camper, because I have no idea what I'm doing. The instructions look like they were written in 5 minutes and then transcribed. So I need to figure out like how this thing even lays flat. I've unzipped what I thought, but the instructions are just so vague. Select a smooth site and spread out your tent floor side down. Right. Let me keep folding and unfolding and trying to figure it out. All right, so my frustrations are getting better. This is the top. So that huge canvas, when you lay it out, figure out where the door is gonna be. So that's the first thing that I was goofing on. So that's my entrance. That's the floor inside. And then try to stretch the corners out. So now the instructions are basically, hey, when you're putting this together, assume that you're looking at the front, which now I'm doing, right? Your electrical opening's over here. So if you're at a site and need to get electric in the tent, it's gonna be on the left. So now I just gotta figure out, you know, it would appear this roof line would go through here. I just gotta figure out with all these poles, how they go. So one of my frustrations here is this big pole came with the hub connectors. You just had to match it. So that would lead me to believe it goes to a red hub connector. So if you come over here, I have a few hub connectors, but I don't know, like, is it this one where it's gonna be blue on the back, white on the front? Could it be this one where it's blue, blue? Could it be this one where it's blue on the left, white on the, I mean, that's the confusing part for me. Tons of wasted time, I think, trying to figure this out. I'm just like playing Tetris over here. This seems like it's going the way it should, but then my next question is, I guess it's only one blue pole from here, so I assume it's just gonna be a blue pole here. I assume it's gonna be a blue pole here, right? That's yellow. This one, I assume it's gonna be blue. We assume these are gonna connect in the back with blue. So I guess that's how it goes. This, I guess I answered my question, right? That needs to be blue going to the right to connect to blue. So then, I guess the hub connector I would use would be that. Is that's gonna allow me to connect blue over on the back. And I guess white on this side. Seems odd to me. Look, it's white on that side too, so that's probably normal. So let me start clipping these together. So I think I'm making progress, but I see issues. One, I did not put this piece on. So where the heck would the blue go to? I just don't get it. That came, this big piece was all like pre-connected. You just unraveled it. And then you have these blue markings here, which I know a hub connector would go to, but what hub connector? All right? These are very different. Blue, blue, red, blue, white. You know, does it go like that? I have no idea. I'm assuming these are going to be the front supports, but this is just where it's utterly confusing without having, in my opinion, everybody's different, but in my opinion, effectively like step one with just a few instructions. So I don't know what to do from here besides just keep connecting things, and you know, you're basically building the skeleton with these pipes and then hooking the tent to it. So hooking the tent up makes a lot of sense. It's going to go on the interior of the pipes, and then that floor would be, you know, the floor. But I'm just at a complete, utter loss right now with that corner. No idea what hub connector to use. The picture of the tent is just not good. And I only have like 8 more pieces left. So I guess it's just clicking, 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 and seeing what happens. Everything seems like a small victory. I figured this out. So why this came hooked up, this is not a support leg going down. It just makes this gable. So I just swing this back to make that connect. So now the roof is all connected. So that is progress. Could you imagine if you were out with your family, you drove 5 hours, maybe even an hour, you get to the campsite. Don't worry, kids, Daddy's gonna put this tent together. It's cold, or maybe it's 100 degrees and hot and humid. Maybe it's raining, maybe it's windy. I would absolutely be dreading putting this bad boy together. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna upright it just with myself and my helper here being my son. But I think using the ladder will help me. When you're camping, you don't have a ladder. So I think that would be my second person. So let me connect this side, and that's our roof line. So I guess that's some progress to be happy about. Okay, it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes. I've taken a few breaks. I walked my dog, so you could call it 1 hour. I guess I started at 12:30, and it's now 2 p.m., so it's been actually an hour and a half. So probably an hour and 15 minutes if you subtract my delays. The skeleton is up. So the areas where I wasn't sure what to use sorted itself once I started trying to like connect this pole. So then I was like, what the heck? It doesn't connect to anything. And then I realized it was the wrong blue elbow. I think it would be nice if the instructions were like A1. Use A1 blue elbow on this side. But I understand that, you know, everybody assembles things differently. So, you know, right now I've kind of positioned it. You know, it's what you would expect because it's just kind of sitting there. The only pieces we have left are 4 poles and these guys. So I would assume at this point I would begin to hook the roof up. Yeah, so attach plastic hooks on the fabric roof to the frame. So I can begin to lift up, I assume, these are the plastic hooks. So those will go up and hook to the frame. And you have the same here in the back. So then that's gonna make everything nice and taut. Then unfold and position the fly on the tent as shown below and fasten Velcro on the fly to the frame roof. Shown below, there's I guess shown below means up at the top. So this is, again, kind of, use a little bit of common sense, a little bit of engineering liberties, and just start hooking everything. The S hooks, and then it looks like you pull it nice and tight to tether it down, which I don't have to worry about, I think. And then you do the closets. So let me start to try to lift this up and hook the plastic hooks. All right, so a lot of progress has been made. And once you get that skeleton of it up, I'm trying to do a time-lapse video, but I know it's difficult. You hook everything to make it nice and tight. So, these little guys go into all these hooks. And what I noticed, though, is you really got to secure the top so it doesn't sag. So I got to do it over here. Get that hooked up to the top, which means I got to unhook these, and then I use my ladder to go inside and reach it. I'm like 5'8", maybe 5'9". I can't easily get to the top. So if you're 5'8", you're gonna need something to stand on to get to the top. All right, so a ton of progress. These extra poles are not extra, they're for the closets, but it's all hooked up, except the roof, which I'm gonna do after I do this. So it gets really nice and taut. It has these which connect it there. It hooks up here. You run it through the loops, and then this would, effectively be hooked into the ground. I'm not gonna have to worry about that. You have all those stakes here, which you would hook into the ground as well, which I don't particularly need to worry about. I would say from a quality standpoint, these are very basic plastic hooks. I suspect if you're a camper and you disassemble this a few times, these are bound to break at some point, especially putting it in the case. These are going to be the extra storage, which I think is kind of cool. So, I had to keep it a little bit farther from the wall. I was going to do that regardless, though, because I'm going to paint in here. I read a YouTube review where a guy said he was in a storm and he had high winds. He must have been one hell of a job securing it, because I couldn't imagine being in a huge storm. But this is a pretty cool tent. It's frustrating putting it together, but I spent $300 on it, so what do you kind of expect, right? And for this application, my son and I can camp in the building as I'm doing projects. I think it's kind of neat. I think it works out pretty well. When I want this out of here, I'm going to list it for sale on Marketplace and give somebody a great price, and they can disassemble it. So let me get back to work on this, because this is the supposedly weatherproof roof that will go over top. But then you have this to get nice air. So let me get the time lapse going again. And I'm hoping this is helpful for anybody, because all the videos I saw, people just had it together. I hope I'm not the only one that's had some frustrations putting it together. But that's life, and I'm learning something new. Let me get the time lapse going. All right, so I had the main roof on. You can see this tent. Let me get this ladder out of the way. That is 12-person Ozark 12 tent. I have a fan on in here, a really big fan. So that's why you see it moving a bit. Everything's hooked up. I got to strap these down, I guess, a little bit still. But the only thing left to do, which I'm going to show next, is the back closet. Not a bad tent, $300. I don't know how people put this thing together in an hour. But you can see you have a nice, I can walk in here without sitting, without leaning over. It's a nice setup in here. Looks like that came down, but that's okay. It's still holding. So the next step is going to be, I'm going to get these closets hooked up, because that gives you some storage outside. So let me read the instructions and figure that out. So to do the closet, it's going to actually be on the outside. So you can see here how now I have this little opening, which is nice. You could throw a storage, or you could put a suitcase in there, I guess, if you're camping. But to do that, you're going to use these two poles. This guy is just going to go in here like so. The other one's going to go through that loop. And then you're going to go to the back of the tent. And you can see how it goes through this sleeve and then goes down through the ring or that fabric down there, whatever you choose. The other side, you have to use the fabric that's on the hook. And that gives you that little bump out of space. So pretty cool design, I guess. I like the fact that you can throw your clothes in there and get them out of the way. We're done. We're done with the tent. Well, I guess there's a... So this was quite the project, getting this tent done. You would probably hear the frustrations in my voice a few times. I've put 2 tents together in my whole life. One was a teepee for my toddler. The second one was an actual tent, but we did it in our backyard. I've never actually camped and had to put the tent up myself. When I camped growing up, the tent was there, or my father or somebody else put it up for us. But this is the end product. We're gonna go ahead and get some camp gear at Walmart, and we're building camping at Jason and Jack's. I have a feeling this bad boy's gonna stay up at least till the winter, and then once it gets too cold, maybe sell it. But kind of digging it in here. I think it looks fine. I can paint around it, and until I need that parking, might as well keep it up. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It means a lot to me. I hope this video was helpful if you're considering getting the tent. And if I had to give 3 tips, be prepared. If you're going somewhere and it's windy, I don't have a clue how you can put this together. You absolutely need 2 people. I was only able to do it because I used a ladder. But even if I had 2 people, let's say my wife was here, she's only 5'2" or 5'3", she wouldn't be able to reach the top. I don't know how you could do this without a step stool or a ladder, unless you're 6'1" or taller. Talk soon, subscribe, thanks for watching.